Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1493. I think I didn't double check this morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. It's the Free for All Friday. It's also day game after a night game for me in two ways. Hobby Evolution. We went live last night on eBay. We're doing it again today at 10 a.m. Central. Catch me on eBay Live. We had a successful night last night. We pulled singles straight out of the Goodwill pallet. And the Goodwill pallet was, so my plan going in, and I talked about this yesterday morning, where I was doing a little crime scene investigation on the particular boxes. I totally blanked when I started loading. I'm trying to remember if there was anything, because pretty much if it was on the top of the pallet, it's at the bottom of my car. So I haven't got to it yet. But I'll talk about the Goodwill pallet. It's Friday. I'm tired. And Ernie was a shithead last night. Oh my God. And usually he's not, usually it's like Sunday and Monday are like his worst. It's like, because he has so much energy, even after going to doggy daycare all freaking day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes Saturday. But usually we keep him home Saturday and Sunday. Just we want to have some time with him, right? So usually Saturday night he's actually good, even though he doesn't typically go to doggy daycare on Saturday. Usually Saturday night he's good, probably because he's pooped from the entire week. And then Sunday, even if we play, he'll play with Rookie, the neighbor dog. We'll go on walks on the weekend. And but Sunday night is like the witching night. That's when he's like in absolute terror and doesn't want to go to bed. And then sometimes that trickles into Monday, but usually, and then by Tuesday he's good. But Thursday night is a rarity for him to be just absolutely anxious and all over the place. So we've got kind of a routine, and Biscuit had the same routine where it was like 9 o'clock. She would go to the door because that means bedtime. Because she knew at 9 o'clock she goes outside to go potty, and then we go to bed, and that was her bedtime. So Ernie's starting to develop, and Ernie's only a year old, so he hasn't developed these, his own schedule yet, but he's starting to. And so and I think for Ernie it's like 10 o'clock. He's a night owl. Because he'll come down. I'll notice he comes down here, like he goes upstairs, or my wife takes him to go potty. Like if I'm doing a live stream, it's 10 o'clock, I hear the door, and then Ernie comes down. He's like, hey, I just went potty. It's 10 o'clock. It's time to go to bed. So that's like his thing. So last night got done a little earlier than the last couple nights. And I took him out to go potty at 10, a little after 10. And then sat on the couch for 10, 15 minutes. And then I'm going to bed. And so Ernie hangs out. And then like as soon as I get into bed, I hear scratching at the door. It's Ernie's bedtime. Okay. So I put Ernie into bed. He goes, lays down. Like 30 seconds later, what he does is he will arch his back and he will pounce. And that's when you know, oh shit. So I let him do that once. I'm like, maybe he just wants to get, I should know better. He doesn't. He just wants to fucking go crazy. So I wait like 30 seconds and finally I'm like, okay, you're going back. Go play with mom. So, and then mom brings him to bed later. I don't know what time, but he was just a terror. So I got even less sleep. So that was last night. I ordered Jets pizza last night because um I had the live at 7. My wife had some showings last night, and I just got groceries too. It's like I shouldn't be ordering pizza. I just got groceries, but it's like I just need some. I don't want to spend time because I was going through boxes of the Goodwill pallet, and it's like after my Thursday night show, I've got to do a Friday morning show. I've got a Janesville card show. I've got to get my car empty again for the second straight day so I can load up quarter boxes to take to Janesville on Saturday tomorrow. So so I'm just ordering pizza. So I order Jets. I order online, and there's a place where you put in your tip. And sometimes I'll do, depending on if I have cash on me or, sometimes, usually I just bundle it in. Like delivery or tip goes on with the rest of the delivery. So I ordered last night. I order online. I get a large cheese. That's what my wife likes. And, go to checkout. Would you like to leave a tip? Yes. And then it's like 10%, 15%, 20%. I always leave 20. When I do that, I do 20%. If I do cash, I end up doing like 35% usually. And so I hit 20%, checkout, good to go. Your order is going to be ready, delivered in an hour. So it was actually a little faster, which was nice. And doorbell rings, it's pizza. And he's like, "Can you sign this?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure." And I'm like, "All right, thank you." And he's like, "No, what? No tip?" Which would took me by surprise for two reasons. Number one, it was kind of bold. I'm glad he said something, but it was pretty bold to say what, no tip? And I'm like, yeah, I did the tip online. And he's like, no. He's like, no, there's no tip. And so he showed me I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I meant to tip online, but I'll give you cash. I ended up giving him more than 20%. I don't know. I think I gave him $7 because I was embarrassed that he thought I was not going to tip him. So I think it was like $20. I paid $7. I gave him $7 cash on a tip, which is on a $20 pizza. Actually, it was like a $16 pizza. Plus tax and delivery charge and all that. So, but I was a little surprised, and I wasn't upset. I wasn't really annoyed, but I'm going to show Max's comment because this is my thought exactly. Tipping culture is getting way out of hand in America. And this is the exact, thank you, Max, because this is the exact point that it made me think. My initial reaction was surprise, he's bold to what, no tip? And then secondly, the thought of tipping is just out of this world. I mean, you go to, there's a sub shop here. It's a local Madison sub shop. It's called Milio's. And on the screen, I remember when they first got when they changed technology or whatever. And it's like, what would you like to leave for a tip? And it's like, I literally walked in the door and ordered a sub and paid cash. They put it on the counter. I pick it up. There is no need for a tip getting fast food. And we're seeing tips everywhere. Give you a tip. Give me a tip. Tip, tip, tip. Fucking stop. Tipping culture needs to change 100%. This is something that Europe does right. You don't tip in Europe. Built in. Build it in, companies. Build in your goddamn tips. It's kind of like eBay and shipping. Just build it in. Because shipping is a pain in the ass when you have to do combined shipping and sending invoices and blah, blah, blah. Build it in. When I do auctions, I charge for shipping. Why? Because I can't build it in. So build the damn tips in. I fucking hate this new tip culture, and it's been like a recent phenomena. Is it phenomena or phenomenon? Um, so just such a pain in the ass. Such a pain in the ass. And I think the onus is on the company. You know, the companies, and I think this is where America did it wrong with serving occupations, delivery drivers, waiters and waitresses, and this is the reason why. And this is where we got it wrong. It goes back to the companies because they're not building tips into the wages. And that's the problem. That's the problem. And that needs to change. You know, if these companies were paying a decent wage, there would be no need for tipping, and tipping culture wouldn't be out of control. So the onus is on the companies. I have not worked in the actually. Well, have I worked in the service industry? But it's out of control. Now, for a delivery driver, I'm not upset because I always tip my delivery drivers. What I'm upset about is the tip culture, and I'm just using last night as an example for when I walk into Milio's to order a sub sandwich and the screen says, should you tip, or what do you want to tip? That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. And in that instance, I don't care what they're paying their employees. Their employees can decide. They don't pay shit. I have to rely on walk-ups leaving tips, absurd tips that I don't like. Delivery drivers, absolutely. I tip my hair cutter, all that. So that's the problem. It's American companies using those loopholes and taking advantage of the wage system and not paying enough. So that's my thought on that. So now that that's off my chest, I picked the Goodwill pallet up yesterday. And the plan, see, red light, Subway does the same thing. It's bullshit. I picked the Goodwill pallet up. The plan, picking the Goodwill pallet up yesterday, was I want to go through and not necessarily cherry pick as I'm loading, but I want to get an idea of which boxes have the good stuff, and put this out. Hold on. I want to address Gundy's comment. This is something new. This is totally something new. We're not talking about the same thing. Bartenders and waiters in the 90s and the 80s and the goddamn 70s worked for tips. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about tipping your delivery driver, tipping your bartender and waiter. That's not the issue. The issue is when you walk into fucking Subway and the goddamn machine says, "What would you like to tip?" Every fucking company is doing that now that I walk into. That's the problem. It's not your bartenders and waiters. It's the fucking Subway that says, "What would you like to leave for a tip?" That's bullshit. That's the tip culture that's changed. And that needs to change. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now I'm done. So the Goodwill pallet. The plan. See, bargain boxer. Where's his tip? The plan was to kind of cherry pick and put the boxes aside of where there's something good in this box. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to auction this off tonight. So that was the plan. Well, plans change, kind of like tips. So I load up, I back in, I get the pallet. They load the pallet, or they pull the Gaylord out. And so I start going through, and it was actually, so I paid about $100 less for this pallet but I think there was more cards, and I don't know the weight. I don't know. I don't know if it was. I might have it in the paperwork. But it filled up more of my card than it ever has, and I paid $100 less. So hey, if there's anything good going on in the world today, pallet prices on sports cards has dropped at Goodwill. So unfortunately, I watched the news this morning. Jesus Christ, should have stayed in bed. Anyway, back to the Goodwill pallet. It's worse than tipping. So I'm loading up my car, and I'm like, there was so much, and I'm like, I just want to get this loaded up. And I didn't even. Usually, I have kind of an idea when I'm loading stuff in, because I'll open up a binder and I'll go through some boxes, but there was just so much to say. I just need to get this loaded. I've got to get this home and go through it. So I didn't want to spend time dilly-dallying in looking through the stuff. So I load the car up, and there was a few things that that stood out, but nothing major stood out. So I get home, and it tends to be when I buy a Goodwill pallet, it tends to be when I start unloading it, it's like I have beginner's luck. And when I say beginner's luck, beginning to take out the boxes. Because the first box I pull out, I don't know, I call them all Amazon boxes. It's an Amazon box. It was in the back seat. I didn't want to open the back hatch because it just shifts. And so I bring the box down, and actually I brought it because I ate lunch. I had a late lunch, and so I sat on the counter, and I opened the first, pulled out the first few boxes, and it was those Upper Deck rookie premiere sets that Upper Deck put out in the 2000s. And there was a football one. So I'm going through, and it's like, oh shit, Calvin Johnson is in here. So it's like, it hasn't been these are the complete sets. Because if Calvin Johnson's still in there might've been, I don't know, in some of the years, but for the most part, all the big names that are good sellers were in there. Jordy Nelson, which usually did well on my 7-day auctions, didn't do well last night. Calvin Johnson did well last night. Who else was in there? Were a couple of Patrick Willis didn't do well, which was surprising to me because he does well on 7-day auctions. And usually 49er stuff does well in my auctions, but you have to have the right people in the live sale. Then there was the basketball, and it's like Kevin Durant's rookie year. And I get people foaming at the mouth for Kevin Durant. Actually, I think it's just one person that asks for Kevin Durant each night. So that was in there. I just opened the box because Kevin Durant's on the cover of that set. Open the box, and there's Kevin Durant right on top. I'm like, oh, well, that's a nice surprise. I'm like, okay, we're off to a good start. Then there was a bag of 2013 Bowman. There was an Aaron Judge, so that's like an Aaron Judge first Bowman. I think that sold for $22 last night. Manny Machado rookie. Then there was a Bowman Chrome Refractor Manny Machado rookie. I can't remember what that sold for. I think that sold for close to $20 last night. And then there were some other random 2013 Bowman stars that sold well. And then in the same bag, there were some basketball cards. There was a Steph Curry, totally red, numbered to $4.99. And this is part of today's title, Mo Money, Mo Problems, that we'll get into. I'll just leave that as a tease for now. James says you only got 20 for the Judge. I thought for a paper, that was pretty damn good. What do those go for? See, I don't even know. I was happy with $22. What's a 2013 Bowman Judge go for? On a different night, last night the sales were a little softer than they have been, but Thursday nights I have not done well on Thursday nights. Let's see. 2013 Bowman, Aaron Judge. Sold. Holy shit. One sold for $100. My goodness. $82. Wow. I didn't realize that. Okay. So eBay Live. Where's my screen? Holy shit. I didn't realize those were, god damn. Hopefully there's more 2013 Bowman. I'm not going to put them on. But what's crazy is like a 2021 Donruss will sell for $5. I did still make money. I think based on what I paid for the pallet and what I did on eBay Live last night, I probably made back 80%, 75 to 80% after fees and shipping. I need to ask for, thank you, George. You got this for $22? Where's my tip? Where's my tip? I gave you a good deal. God damn. Here's the funny thing. So the judge, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off since you brought that up. So the judge sells for 22. I'm like, God, that's good. I thought that was a $10 card. The Steph Curry, meanwhile, because I did look at comps on the Steph Curry. The Steph Curry sold for $71. And this is where More Money, More Problems comes in. So the Steph Curry sold for $71. And the most recent sale was $10. So here's the thing. Immediately after that auction, and so this was the buildup. Like I'm building it up because I thought it was worth more than a sale price of $10. I mean, I sell base Steph Curry for $10. Like Donruss base Steph Curry will sell for $10 at eBay Live. So I'm like, well, shit, what's a red to $4.99 going to sell for? So immediately after the sale, and I'm pumping this up, hey, coming up at the end, we got a Steph Curry 2012 totally red, numbered to $4.99. And I save it for the last auction of the night, pump it up. Does well, $71 sale. Buyer cancels. Sends a request. I declined it. I overbidded too much. It's like, Jesus, is this a 6-year-old bidding? It probably was. I overbidded too much. All right. Decline. Mo money, mo problems. I'm seeing this consistently now as I've grown my audience and I'm getting a lot of the first couple shows. It was like it was people that watch my YouTube channel, people from the Madison Card Show page, people from Twitter. But as I'm on eBay Live, like bidders from eBay Live, like, people that are on eBay Live bidding on multiple things, they start coming in. So it's like completely new audience, completely new buyers are coming in. And, and I can tell what sucks is I am not good with communicating with the youth. And that's a lot of the clientele that's where they want bangers and they want slabs. And yeah, I'll give slabs, but I want my Tony Gwynn rookie slabs and Cal Ripken Jr. And I like those, but those are also selling well for me. But I need to cater to the audience as well. And a lot of that audience is Generation Z or whatever this new generation is. And it's hard to speak with different generations. Our parents said the same thing about X. Our parents said the same thing about us, whether we were Generation X or millennials, or I don't like to put myself in either of those bubbles. I like to call myself the Xennials. We're that little micro generation between Generation X and millennials. So it's, it's difficult. And looking back and some of the shit we did, it's the same thing that kids are doing now. It's just different. It's just the stupid sayings have changed. And our parents had stupid sayings that their parents, our grandparents thought were stupid, and so on and so forth. And it's going to happen. This generation is going to have kids and they're going to think their kids are stupid, and it's a cycle. So that's one of my issues is I just need to figure out, but I have no patience. Like I'm stubborn and I have no patience. That's not a good way to run a business, but we get by. It's like one of my the bane of my eBay Live existence is, can I see a picture of what I bought? And this is the problem of the shell listings on eBay Live is you don't have that, like you have a record on the replay, like, but you have to watch the replay and you don't get that instant gratification of going to your eBay and like, oh, cool, I bought a 2013 Bowman Aaron Judge for $22. Hopefully this is one of the people that didn't pay. They probably paid right away. So this is going to be the one that's like, oh shit. Hopefully they don't pay. I'm not going to send them a payment reminder in 4 days. So, I have more issues, but I'm also making a lot more money than I have been on eBay. I take the bad with the good. And this is what I see a lot on Twitter when somebody makes a tweet about some issue with a buyer or on a Facebook group or wherever, people will chime in. Well, that's why I don't sell on eBay. That's fine. That's not why you don't sell on eBay. If that is the reason you don't sell on eBay, that's really, you're a moron. If you want to make money, and let's just keep this to eBay and ignore the other platforms. There are a lot of problem buyers on eBay, but it's a very small portion. And the more transactions you do, guess what? The more problems you're going to have to deal with. The more, when's my item going to ship? Well, if you read the fucking description, it says all orders ship within 3 business days. Do the freaking math. And by the way, little lesson, and I'm not going to charge you for this. Fridays and Saturdays aren't business days. Neither are holidays. What are they teaching in school these days? It's not common sense. So when you deal with if you want to scale up, you're going to have to I hate customer service. And I am the first person that will stand in line complaining about buyers, about problem buyers, not buyers, problem buyers. And my stance, I don't want a problem buyer. And I know some people are customer service centric. I am not. I am not customer service centric. And Rich's comment has me flustered. Friday is a business day. I am not going to go out of my way to answer dumb questions. And I'm not customer service oriented, and I never will be. Should I improve a little bit? Maybe. But a lot of times it's just like, I'm not going to hold hands. Like, this is like, sometimes there are legitimate messages that you receive on eBay. There are legitimate messages. Now, if I have a Mike Trout first Bowman Chrome blue auto listed for more than $10,000 on eBay and somebody says, can you send me closer pictures? I will do that. If somebody sends me a message asking for closer pictures of a 1977 Topps Steve Blass, I am not going to do that. And I'm just going to ignore. Max says customer service culture is more out of hand than tipping culture. It's like, grow up, be an adult, and figure shit out. Like, you don't need your hand being held through every part of a process of buying a fucking baseball card online. It's going to get to you. And if it's not, there are systems in place where if your order isn't shipped, you will get your refund. It's going to ship within the stated time. If there's a tracking number, it has been shipped. Sellers aren't holding your 99-cent cards hostage, trying to rip you off for $1. I hope not, at least. Salty Bo is back this morning. It's because I didn't get any sleep last night. It's because I didn't get any sleep. All right, let's go to the chat. Where are we at? Mr. Archer, good morning. 30 minutes in and we're just getting to the chat. That's a rarity here. Mr. Archer, good morning. Red Lights in the house. Good morning. He's in the crane. I hope to see you back again at 10 a.m. on eBay Live. It's the free-for-all Friday. Gem City's in the house. Philly Joe is here. Good morning. Cooter's here. What's happening? Max says, got to put the good boxes in the passenger seat. That's what I do. That's what I do. I actually, partially did that. So I did do that. So I'm still going through boxes from two weeks ago, or was it last week? I can't remember. Whenever I bought the collection down in Chicago, I think it was 2 weeks ago now. I'm still going through that. So I had a bunch of boxes and I'm like, I don't have any more space here. The rest of it's just going to go to the storage unit and I'll get to it later. But if I find some decent stuff, like the other night, I just randomly found a box of 73 and 74 Hall of Famers. Like, okay, if I find something like that, I'll keep going. I'll set it aside, put it in the passenger seat. So I did do that. I went to the storage unit and unloaded. I'm opening up. Okay, this is all 90 Upper Deck. There was a 90 score, and I'm like, oh, the Bo Jackson shoulder pads is here. Put that aside. So I had a nice little pile. That undersold. That's so some of that stuff did. So really, it was kind of a disappointing night in some of the bigger cards. Obviously, the Aaron Judge sold for way under comps. The Bo Jackson shoulder pads card, I think, only sold for like 10 or 12, that's usually like a $15 to $20 card. I think. I don't know. Maybe it's changed. The Mark Jackson Menendez brothers card only sold for $5. That typically sells for $15. I know it was going for like $40 back when the documentary came out. But that was a surprising, like, I think in one of my first eBay lives, the Mark Jackson Menendez brothers sold for $25. So that's just the crapshoot. But a Chipper Jones 91 Upper Deck sold for $20 last night. 91 Upper Deck Bo Jacksons were selling for $5. So it's like, you take the good with the bad. Yeah, I only got $22 for a $100 or $80 or $90 Aaron Judge, but I got 20 for a 91 Upper Deck Chipper Jones, and I got 5 for a Bo Jackson 88 tops. So like that stuff was selling at a premium, but the good stuff was selling below comps. Peter's in the house. Happy Friday. We are going to play Name That Player. I did curate some cards. I didn't put too much time into it, but they are curated. Gundy's in the house. Good morning. David is here. Good morning. We talked about tip culture. Orlando, what's going on? Good morning. Gem City doesn't disagree. Red Light says, I would say, hell no, tell your boss to pay you more. There you go. Good morning, Kyle. He's listening on his drive to the suburbs this morning. Whereabouts? We'll just avoid the tipping comments. I think I said my piece on my tipping opinions. F-Bomb Friday. Loafy Joe, good morning. Posting some sumo wrestling cards on eBay, and your store came up as a store with similar items. That's interesting. I guess I have wrestling cards in my store. I don't have any sumo wrestling cards. Orlando sees tip jars on every restaurant. I drop my change in though. See, I have the same when it comes to tip jars. It's like customer service. Actually, in some cases I do. I said I was going to avoid it, but I'm going to come back to it. So here's an example of when I do throw change in the tip jar. When I'm at the Madison Card Show at the Sheraton, which, by the way, the July show, it's not going to be at the Sheraton. It's going to be at the Madison Marriott West. It's the same location. Don't get your panties in a bunch. It's the same location. It's the same hotel, but it's going to have a different name. So that's going to be a fucking giant headache. I thought it was at the Sheraton. It is, but it's not called that anymore. It's this. Maybe it's. I'll ask permission. Can I still call it the Sheraton on John Nolan Drive? It's like the Sears Tower or Comiskey Park. People are just not going to handle the change of the name. All right. So at the Marriott West, formerly known as the Sheraton, I think I'm going to have to do that. Madison Marriott West, formerly the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. That's a bunch. They have a tip jar in their little coffee shop. And every once in a while, I'll get a coffee. If my mushroom coffee isn't enough that particular day, depends how many headaches I have at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. And they have a tip jar. So if there's like 75 cents in change, I don't want to carry around change in my money bag or in my pocket for like the whole day. So I'll put that in the tip jar. But usually if I'm running into a gas station, like I have change. I have a console full of change. Funny story about a tip jar. My friend Mike, who is he's kind of a, I think vagabond would be he's kind of a, he's not a couch surfer, but he's a semi couch surfer. He's an actor, like in plays, and he like travels the country. I think he calls home in Alaska, of all places. But so he worked, we had and the gas station that has been bulldozed. Now there's a giant one of those, especially in a small town, because it was like a family owned small Amoco station. And it's been, 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. Now it's like a new one of those fancy big gas stations with a truck stop type deal. It's not a main, I don't know. It's not Cenex, but it's not like Pilot or anything like that. Anyway, it was the old Amoco. I think it was called Standard, which I think Standard Oil. So it was friends of mine, parents owned it. Oh, Lawnmower Man's here. So it was DeSplinter's Standard. And so my buddy Mike worked there in high school. And so he put a tip jar at the counter. And I can't remember if he made up a story about what the tip jar was for, but it was just for beer money. I can't remember if he put, this is not for my college education, but it's for my beer fund. I think he did something like funny, like, and people put money in there, and he made a lot, like he made decent money on his tip jar, and it was just for beer money. We were in high school. So Mike always had beer money. Where are we at? I feel like telling that story. I feel like that's a story that our parents told, because like nowadays, like that's not a thing anymore. Like a family owned Standard Oil gas station. Like, do those even exist anymore? A tip jar for beer money. I don't think kids are smart enough these days to do that. Bargain Boxer says, that's why I pay in cash. Can't make me tip unless I want to. Gem City says the Muppets did it best. Phenomena. Oh, phenomena. If the big stupid bill eliminates tax on tips, it will only get worse. Victor is here, the rookie card specialist. Good morning. We're going to avoid all the tipping. That dude from Duryea, what's up? You may have been scammed. Check your account. I have seen that before. What was I scammed for? Hopefully I wasn't scammed. Rich says because employers will take even more advantage of the situation. Well, here we'll show Zach's comment here. Zach worked on tips, and I would not have wanted it to be rolled in. I could earn more through tips. I also can't believe I'm saying this, but Rich Klein made a good point. Red Light says they ask for a tip at Subway. See, and here's, God, I say I'm going to keep avoiding it, but some of these comments are good. A bartender opens up. I tip my bartender $1. And it's like, all they did was grab a can of, like, I'm back home at Anawan Fun Days. They grab a can of Busch Light. Actually, I was drinking Bud Light. They grab a can of Bud Light out of the cooler and set it on the bar. And I still tip them $1. Although in Anawan, a Bud Light's like $2. So it's like, I'll tip you $2 on this one. This is a deal. Where are we at? Here's a good one. Uncle Rich says, "Oh, and good Morgan to you. Hit like button, sub, all that. Salty Bo is back this morning. Bargain Boxer uses the self-checkout at Walmart. Where's my tip? Bargain Boxer pumps his own gas, unless you're in New Jersey." Gundy says, "Okay, now I know what you're talking about." Yeah, sorry I had to get on my soapbox. Zach says, "It's new. There is a service wage based on tips. Traditionally, hourly jobs post-COVID kept the tipping option. It isn't against the law. It's just pulling on someone's not feeling bad. That's why I don't use them on big orders. TBB, people get paid for that shit." James says, "Damn, LOL. First time listening in a while. F-bombs falling. It's salty, but sometimes when I don't get enough sleep, the F-bombs roll off my tongue. Tip your Goodwill employee for giving you more weight for lower costs." There you go. Mark's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Gundy says, "Zach explains it very well." Jim City says, I'm picking up a large collection next week. Thank you for the sound advice. You are welcome. Mark says, "I've had a solid morning. Just dropped off 17,000 vintage commons from the 50s with somebody. Woo! Philly Joe says, "I liked the rings." Yeah, so there, and I still have a couple more. So there were some replica championship rings. There might be even more, but I set aside like 5 or 6. So this is a Brewers American League Championship ring, 1982. I think that ended up selling for like $20 or $25, which I don't know what comps are, but I was happy with it. There was a Toronto Maple Leaf Stanley Cup, and that sold for like 12, I think. But I mean, as long as they sold for more than shipping, I was happy. I'm going to bring that up again. Oh, I didn't realize how crazy. A 2013 Bowman paper, Aaron Judge, selling for between $80 and $100 right now. 22 on eBay Live. My goodness. Yeah, his stuff is crazy. Like, and I knew his stuff is crazy because I'll sell like base card. I'll sell like a Topps base card for like $4. So I'll just make my money back. And I've got this. This will be up today. I'm going to go try to find as many Judge cards as I can, but not the 2013 Bowmans. I'll save those for the buy it now section. I did still make money. George says, "You need to ask for a tip from the buyer." Yes, I do. Dan's in the house. What's going on? Red Light says the eBay Live was good. I had fun. It was, the crazy thing was, it was the worst. It was my worst sales night of the week. And I still made more than what I ever thought I would make on eBay Live in a night. So that's pretty dang good. And I'm going in with today's Friday. I haven't had a chance to curate anything for this morning's live. So I'm going to set like we'll see what I can do. Gem City says, "I want to know from the eBay folks, do sellers with 2 camera setups tend to command a larger audience and therefore larger sales?" Are you talking about eBay Live? Most eBay Lives that I've watched are single cam, unless they're breakers. The breaking channels obviously have to have multicam. Well, I guess they don't necessarily have to, but the breakers typically have multicam, 2 cam setups. The single sales are typically just 1 camera. So I wouldn't think it would lead to larger sales. Zach says the tip on eBay Live goes to eBay. It's the microtransaction fee that Bo uses to go ape about and now has gone quiet once they bought his silence. I went silent about it a long time ago. I said my piece about it. I still think it's stupid, but I understand. I now understand why it is the way it is. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Send the curry buyer a fractional of the judge. There you go. I like George. That's thinking outside the box. Red Light says, cancel an order. Why are you bidding? It's so annoying. I don't get that many. Now, it has, the first couple lives, I didn't get any. And then it's like, there's one. And now it's like, I think I only had one last night. Of course, it was the biggest sale. But, now it's like 2, maybe 3. I didn't mean to bid on that. We'll learn the fucking platform. George says, clip a corner and throw it in the bubble mailer. Yes, I will be set up tomorrow in Janesville. 25-cent boxes galore. So yes, I will be set up tomorrow. Red Light says, I just want vintage at a great price. And I've got vintage. And sometimes it's a great price. Sometimes it's not. What? Oh, something else. What undersold? I think the 74 tops Pete Rose only sold for like 12. And I'll sell like 86 tops Pete Rose for like 8. So I was surprised by that. I was surprised by that result. I think Red Light won that one. Orlando says, Bo's business customer service is like PSA. Sorry, can't help you. Exactly. Although I don't even respond. PSA, at least they say, sorry, we can't help you. I just deal with it. Merle says, when did Fridays quit being business days? Did I say Friday? Because Rich made a comment. Weekends. Did I say Friday? See, I didn't have enough sleep. Weekends are not business days. Maybe I said, did I say Fridays are not business days? I can't remember. I must have, because that was where Rich had me confused. Like Friday, I know Friday's a business day. So my apologies. It was one of those Freudian slips, because I was reading Free for All Friday, and weekends are not business days. Holidays are not business days. Is that what I said? Weekends are not business days. Fridays are not holidays, or Fridays are not business day. I don't know. Weekends and holidays, not business days. Friday, business day. George says, most people don't sell on eBay because they don't want a 1099. That's also true. They'll go out of their way. They'll spend more money avoiding paying taxes than what they would pay in taxes. Max says, the problem is the teachers at home not doing anything. Found treasures. What's going on? Shane, what's up? Says, good for you. Send all the losers straight to whatnot. Barrier to entry for sellers should equal barrier to tolerance for buyers. Yeah, I agree. Mikey's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. That dude says, you are not customer service oriented because you never worked for tips. Hey, maybe. Maybe that there is probably a correlation. I worked. Is working at a grocery store the service industry? Is cashiering, is that service industry? I guess. I mean, it's not working for tips. I did get tipped though. I would carry out bags of, we were like a full service grocery store. Before saying full service, whatever was a thing. That's like another like annoyance I have. We're a full service logistics company. All logistics companies are full service. We're a full service card shop. Most card shops are full service. Like I just, the full service, we're full service. Well, 90% of those companies are those businesses. Now, it is a little different in grocery stores. And I guess gas station, full service gas station. But I think we're kind of stretching the term full service out into other things that shouldn't be. And I know, working in logistics, the brokerage, I know not every single brokerage is full service, but goddamn, most of them are. Most of them are. Card shops. Like, what's a full service card shop? Like, I heard that on a video the other, I don't know what channel it was on, but they're like, we're a full service card shop. What the fuck does that mean? Do you carry my wax boxes out to the car for me? Like, what the hell is a full service card shop? And maybe there is such a thing. Somebody mentioned it in the comments, but I worked at the grocery store and you could say it was full service. We didn't say we were a full service grocery store because that's kind of like tipping culture is now. We're full service. Well, when everybody is full service, is anybody full service? So I would carry out groceries to the car. We would do deliveries, free deliveries to the elderly. We had old lady Shirley. She would walk like, I don't know, 6-8 blocks, which is a long way in a small town. And especially when you're like 80 or older. 80 was different in the 90s though. 80 today is like Martha Stewart is like 80. It's like she could go freaking whatever. Anyway, old Shirley would come up to the grocery store and then she would buy a freaking a cart full of groceries. Like, nope, sorry, Shirley, you got to walk these home. We'll rent you the cart though. You can rent now. So we would, and that was good because that got me away. I hated cashiering. So any chance, like I wanted to bag groceries because I could bag the groceries and then carry them out for the customers. And sometimes I would like take it to the extreme and be like, I'll carry out 3 bags. Like I can handle that. It's like, no, I want to go outside. Let me carry your groceries. All right. Anyway, I had a great conversation with my boss at Anawan Fun Days. He had to close. He didn't have to, but he closed the grocery store, the IGA. And we were talking like, so he was asking me, we hadn't seen each other since probably last Anawan Fun Days. So, and I probably threw out the first pitch. Yeah, I would have thrown out the first pitch before, but maybe we didn't see each other last Fun Days. But anyway, so he was asking me about that. And I'm like, it's just like, to him, it makes sense. Like growing up where we grew up, or if you grew up in any small town, but to actually like put it in terms of, you grew up in Anawan. Like nothing big happens in Anawan. It's like, it's not even Mayberry because things happened in Mayberry on Andy Griffith's show. Like nothing even happened. It's like boring. Nothing ever happens in little sleepy Anawan. And for somebody growing up in sleepy Anawan to like get a card from Topps and throw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field, like just doesn't happen. So I can explain it in terms of, it's like, I was telling my old boss, my IGA boss, it's like, I grew up. It's like, you can understand this because I grew up, 2 blocks down the street and I would ride my bike to IGA and buy packs of 1989 Topps with my allowance money. And then to collect, I'm collecting these Cubs cards and then I get to go throw them. It's just, to me. So he understood. And he was really, and we had a great conversation. He was talking about how, because he's of retirement age now, and how he was nervous because the grocery store had been a family-owned grocery store in his family since the 1930s, almost 100 years. And so it was the end of the line. Like his kids didn't want to take over the business. Like, and it's small town grocery stores just don't exist anymore. I mean, yes, they do, but not like they used to. Now you can have Amazon delivered in a day or two. And when I was working there, it was like our biggest competitor was people going to Walmart, especially when the super center opened up. And now it's online. Like shit, you can buy whatever you want on Amazon, have it delivered next day, or in Anawan, it might be 2 days still. But we had a good conversation. Let's see. Max says it's a $5 card, Jim. Look at the picture and figure it out if you want it. Exactly. TD Sports Cards. Good morning. George says if you leave a tip, you may get a modicum of customer service. There you go. Leave a tip and I might be a little nicer. Everyone is held to the Amazon standard for shipping, and I'm here for it. If you don't serve them, someone else will. Commerce. And that's true. That is true. But you know what? All customers are not equal. And I don't want the problem ones. And I know, and this is the thought that I lost my train of thought earlier. There are some people that will bend over backwards for problem customers. And that feeds right into the problem customer. Because a problem customer once is probably going to be a problem customer twice and 3 times. And as long as you let them be a problem customer, they're going to give you fits and it's not going to be worth your time. Like the asshole that I dealt with that gave me like 3 issues. I should have blocked him on the first time and I didn't. And then he bought some stuff and was a pain in the ass right after he bought it. And then it shipped. And then he said it wasn't what he bought. And it's on the fucking screen. And it's written on the goddamn penny sleeve. And then it's like, okay, block. Now you've really earned it. Because a problem buyer once is probably going to be a problem buyer a second, third, fourth, how many ever times you let them go. I'm not going to deal with that. I am not going to bend over backwards I don't need every customer. Do I need customers? Do all of us that are selling need customers? Fuck yes, we do. Do we need problem customers? Nope. That's a choice. And that's a choice I will say no on. That's a choice I am willing to make. I'm not dealing with you. If you're going to give me a problem, and now that varies from person to person. If somebody, I know a lot of people. Now, the word a lot is kind of subjective, but there's a lot of people out there that block low baller offers. I don't go that far. Is it annoying? Yes, but it's not a blockable offense, in my opinion, the way I run my business. Because often I'll get a $1 offer and I'll decline it. I'm selling a ton of Jacob Mizorowski cards. He made his debut. I think he had a no-hitter through 5 innings, and then he freaking broke his ankle or something for the Brewers last night. I'm selling Jacob Mizorowski first Bowmans like crazy. And I've got to get some, I got to look at my inbox. We'll throw some on eBay Live, see how they do on live today. Shit, where was I going with that thought? Jacob Mizorowski, been selling like crazy. God damn. Lost my train of thought. See, this is what happens before coffee and lack of sleep. Anyway, I sold a lot of Jacob Mizorowski. That wasn't the point I was trying to make, but anyway, moving on. Red Light says, I will be there at 10. Put some vintage lots up. I think I've got another 73 tops built. I don't know what else I can get built up between now and 10. I got to make my coffee. And we got to do the name that player still. George says, I'm still looking for someone to serve me, Zach. You got the Snapchat for Little Rock Connie. I think John does. Max says, Amazon sucks. I love Amazon. They provide 0 customer service. That is accurate, but that doesn't bother me because I don't provide customer service. So I don't care if it's reciprocated. Just allowing you to freely return shit isn't customer service. I'm okay with that. But I don't sell on Amazon. If I sold on Amazon, I'd probably have a different opinion. But I don't sell on Amazon. I strictly buy on Amazon, and I'm here for it. Zach says, Rich Klein has the lead on off-the-till favors and services. You'll need to use his ComC login for some of the websites. Dan says, that's the facts of life. Bargain Boxer says, my buddy from Chicago is dying to get on eBay Live. I told him about your Dale Murphy lot and that you're over 90% up year over year. Yeah, I am now, through yesterday, I am now 98% year over year. 98%, 98.1%. Quantity, volume sold is up over 17%. Average sales price is now up 36%. It's awesome. I love it. Thank you, eBay Live. Where are we at? Philly Joe says, what's Philly Joe say? Look at as it's the sum of the total, not the individual items. Absolutely. There's some stuff that's going to be, and that's auctions. Like you're going to, if I cherry picked And here's the thing, auctions all balance out. Okay, the Cade Cunningham Blue Velocity Prism rated rookie sold for less than it should have. The Aaron Judge sold for less than it should have. But should I be getting $5 for an 88 Topps Bo Jackson, $5 for a 91 Upper Deck Bo Jackson? Should I be getting $20 for a 91 Upper Deck Chipper Jones? No. So they all balance out. So at the end of the day, I'm still probably getting above comps for most of the stuff I put on eBay Live. Cooter says, I received a tip with an eBay purchase yesterday. I guess Mike Krukow cards don't move on eBay Live. Well, you bought the one. I'm like, oh, here's Mike Krukow. I'm not going to put this on eBay Live, so I'll put it in Cooter's envelope. Zach says, I used Mike Krukow as a pitcher on RBI Baseball the other day. Oh, that takes me back. Mikey says his mom doesn't tip. Max says, oh, God, please no. I don't know what that could have been. That was 30 minutes ago. That could have been in regards to anything. Dan says, can you count on one hand how many times you got to Chicago before graduating high school? Yeah. How many times I went to the city? How many times I went to Chicago before graduating high school? I think my first trip, my uncle was at a veterans hospital in the suburbs. So that was a trip. We went on a Christmas shopping bus trip when I was like 10 to Water Tower Place. My parents took me to like the Shed Aquarium and the Museum of Science and Industry one summer. We went on a couple field trips. I might have went more than 5 times before graduating, but it's very close. But it's definitely less than 10 times that I went to Chicago before graduating high school. And I only lived 2 hours, maybe 2.5 to the city. But I think my sister lived in Naperville, but not until after college. And I think it was only an hour and a half to her house from Anawan. So yeah, definitely pretty close to one hand how many times I went to Chicago, even living 2.5 hours away from the city. Bargain Boxer says, I'm going to set up at the National this year and only set up with a tip jar. Stop by my table. Red Light says, put a tip jar on your card table this Saturday. Hey, there's a good idea. Rob, what's going on? Good Friday evening from Australia. Welcome. We've got South Korea in the chat. We've got Australia. Awesome. Billy Joe says, do you tip the lawnmower guy? No, because they're on a contract. So no, it's a company. It's a contract. No. I tip the movers. They put in some fucking work though. They earned every cent of those tips, every freaking penny of those tips, all 3 pennies that I gave them. Mikey says, just wait until someone tries to get tips at card shows. Now we're on to something. Is anything family owned anymore? Gosh, not too many. Bargain Boxer says, my idea. People put Venmo accounts on their car windows to donate money for their vacation trips. That's crazy. Yeah, or starting GoFundMes to go to Cubs games in Japan. The tip, did the driver show you the receipt was for your order? I don't know. He showed me a receipt. It might not have been for my order. I did go back and look because I know but I mean, it could have been a web glitch. When I looked back at my, although I don't know if it hit, when I looked at the email receipt, it didn't show a tip. So it must not have taken on the website. SC Johnson is family owned. You tip your bartender to get your next beer. That's actually fact. That is actually fact. Especially in a busy bar. Like if it's, at Anawan Fun Days and I'm tipping well, and I also like went to high school with, one of the bartenders. And so they know me, but bartenders will know your face faster. And I've never bartended, but I've been serviced by bartenders many times over the years. That's what she said. And the more you tip, the more they know your face, and the more they know your face and correlate Good tipper, that face, beer faster. For reference, I owned restaurants for 25 years. I also tipped the gas pump guys when in Jersey. There you go. Offbeat All-Stars in the house. Good morning. Max says, you know how we know that isn't a World Series ring? Haha, we sure do. We sure do. Offbeat All-Stars got to wear a Cubs World Series ring. Hate the Cubs. Still a cool moment. Did you see Justin Turner's nutsack last night? I saw the fake nutsack, yes. How awesome was that? That was hilarious. Fan of the game, Justin Turner bouncing a fake nutsack. Mark F., what's going on? He says, I'm clearing some stuff prior to the National. Love it. George says, I'm glad you're talking about Judge. Got some Stadium Club refractors I need to try to sell. Sell now. Sell now. Found Treasure says, I gave my only Judge card away at my yard sale last year. Refractor of 100. Nice. George says, I didn't even see my nutsack last night, so I wasn't looking for Justin Turner's. Offbeat says, I need to visit the Janesville show. It's tomorrow, the Holiday Inn Banquet Center, just off Interstate 39. It's a quick trip from Madison. Red Light says, yep, I got it for 12. Full services should include a reach around. Maybe I should put a sign on my crane. Tips are welcome. There you go. Full service card shop. The sleeve and top load before shipping. Yeah. Annoyance, Friday the 13th. It is Friday the 13th. I didn't even, wow. I'm an hour and 6 minutes in. Didn't even realize today was Friday the 13th. Who's in for a Friday the 13th movie marathon? We got to catch up. We're still 15 minutes behind. Every job is in customer service. Your paycheck is brought to you by the customer. It's a good point. Found Treasure says, I live in New Jersey. I occasionally throw the gas attendant a buck or two, except whoever pumps my gas closest to Christmas gets a Benjamin. Nice. Only the ladies can get away with selling farts. Chris says some massage parlors are full service, but Florida baseball card dude, good morning. Congrats on all the eBay Live success. I popped in last night and there were 500 plus live and saw a Leaf Bo Jackson go for $8 or $9. Yeah, it's been crazy. Some of the stuff, although Aaron Judge, first Bowman's, not so much. But Bo Jackson sells well. Only if you take off the boxes first. Chris says, why haven't they made you the Grand Marshal of the N1 Fun Days Parade? That's a good idea. It's a good idea. George says, boxers, this motherfucking new AI phone screws up all the comments. I'm from St. Joseph. Nothing ever happened in St. Joseph. Part of Ogden, SJO, St. Joseph Ogden. Some really good football teams and softball teams. Dad Dude from Duryea says, sometimes you need to divorce customers without question. The Miz debut was amazing. He is must-see TV. Can't wait for his next start. Sal Dougie. Hey, what's going on? Sal Dougie's in the house. Been a while. TD Sports Card says, I was just looking at Jacob Mizorowski cards, 2022 Bowman Draft, 2023 Prism Select Bowman Platinum. Yeah, and I have a boatload of 2022 Bowman Draft. I got to get those out. I've got a bunch of paper on my store, but I got to get the chromes and refractors out. John is in Chicago now. What the fuck are these people protesting? Everything seems fine. Everything is fine. Nothing wrong. Nothing to see here. They're protesting the lack of tips. Bargain Boxer says illegals are mad because they hate it here. Burn the American flag. But don't want to go to Mexico. Peter says, I was at a Phillies game a few weeks ago and bought a beer at a machine. And it asked for a tip. And I was like, hell no. Hell no. All right, let's play Name That Player. I did curate, but I did not organize. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. We're just going to go by the StreamYard. Correct spelling only. There's your leaderboard. And here we go. First up is a Chicago Cub. Playing Name That Player. First up in Upper Deck, 2002 Chicago Cub. John was at a Cubs game last night. Kyle Tucker did nothing. It is not Tyler Colvin. It is not Ruzi. It is not Rizzo. It is not Hesop Choi. I'll give you a hint. It's not even a hitter. It's a pitcher. It's not Brant Brown. This is a pitcher. This might be his only card as a hitter. I'll have to ask him. John Lieber is the correct answer. My buddy John Lieber. By the way, if you're looking for a cruise vacation, hit up John Lieber. Him and his wife are travel agents. John Lieber, point to that dude from Duryea. And he is tied with Spam Likely at 5 points. Oh, this next one. Ooh, this one's even tougher, I think. Unless you know your vintage. Yeah. Early 2000s for John Lieber. 1972 Topps. Oh, this was the correct answer, by the way. I don't know if I showed the wrong one or not. This is a tough one. 1972 Houston Astros. Oh, this is a high number. Wow, Rich Klein. I bet Rich knew it because it's a high number, right? Jim Stewart. I think this one's, yeah, it's got creases. That's why I didn't put it on eBay. Jim Stewart is correct. And Uncle Rich now just a point behind Max. We got a game at the top. Max 21, Rich 20, Shane 18. Michael Renicky just taking the summer off. All right. This one's for Dan. He's always asking for non-sports. Oh, my back is killing me. All right, Hollywood. Who is this? This is a gimme. The last two were more difficult. This one, not so much. Where are the comments? There we go. They all came at the same time. On my board, I've got that dude from Duryea. If anybody objects, just drop it in the chat. I don't want to get my YouTube out on my phone. That dude from Duryea with the point. And that's 6. And he's catch up. Oh, Michael Renicky's only at 7 points. Where's he been? He had a hot start. Fizzled out. I'll probably see him tomorrow. I assume he's coming to Janesville. Let's see. Okay. Dan says, doesn't matter what I ask for. 7,000 miles is too much to overcome. You've got some points. George says, I saw 6 goddamn answers before you even changed the card, and I'm live. All right, we got wrestling. Who knows they're wrestling? Oh, man. It is CM Punk Max, first on my screen. CM Punk. Oh, I also didn't explain what I would have taken just Punk also. Should have explained that. Next up. Last name, correct spelling. Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers. It is Jack Lambert. Jack Lambert. And let's see. Shane was the first. Jack Lambert. Shane with 19. Ooh, we've got a game here at the top. All right, this is a really tough. This might be the toughest one yet. 1967 football. But it is a Green Bay Packer. It is a Green Bay Packer. Dan's going to post some facts about the player. It's not Terry Bradshaw. I think in 1967, Terry Bradshaw was probably, a freshman in college at Louisiana Tech? Might have been in high school. No, might have been in high school. It's Henry Jordan. We got a couple people that got it correct. Henry Jordan. Yeah. Wow. That dude from Duryea, first to get it correct. He's having a game. He's up to 7 points now, tied with Renicky. What time is it? Shit, it's 9 o'clock already. Remember, we're going live at 10 on eBay this morning. Next up. Oh, yeah. So Henry Jordan in this photo. He was 32. This guy was 32. That's a rough-looking 32. They were all rough-looking 32s in the 1960s. All right, more vintage. 1974 Topps baseball. I am going to switch it up because we got another 74, so we'll run some of these. Baltimore Orioles. It is Boog Powell. Last name only. Last name only. Correct spelling. Shane with the point. And Shane is tied Rich for second. All right, next up, we've got Junk Wax Football. Junk Wax Football. This is a stripe card, too. This is a 50 stripe. I had Max, I had Boog from Max, and then I had Powell from Shane, and then I had Powell from Max, Powell from Peter. It is Chris Dolman. Chris Dolman. Max with the point. Chris Dolman. We've got a 23-20 game at the top. 23 for Max, Rich and Shane with 20. And then we got a drop off. All right. Next up, modern football. Da Bears. Last name only, correct spelling. Correct spelling. Max got it. I'm like, ooh, spelling might trip some people up. Roma Dunze. Roma Dunze. All right. Next up, we've got modern and vintage all in one. Modern and I don't even need to hide the name on this one. Modern and vintage all in one. This card is from 2013. Reprint of the 1948 Bowman of this New York Yankee. All right. Who can spell Phil Rizzuto correctly? Max can. That dude from Duryea can. And it looks like everybody can. I think everybody spelled it correctly. It's a good thing Max went with 2 Z's, 1 T first, because that was the correct one. All right, back to vintage baseball. Vintage baseball, and I think I actually used this as a reference earlier. This player is a random 70s, but I think in the reference, I don't think he has. I think I used it in reference to 1977 Topps. I don't think he has a 1977 Topps card. It is Steve Blass. Or he might have had a 75 Topps card. Steve Blass, Philly Joe with a point. His first point of the day. And Philly Joe's got 2 on the game. Philly Joe. Next up. Rich says that was his final card. All right, we got a Bowman, 2013 Bowman. In orange or copper. I don't know. Did they call this orange? It's numbered to 250. Toronto Blue Jays pitcher. It is Sanchez. It is Aaron Sanchez. You are correct, sir, on both accounts. All right, we've got one card left. Max extends his lead today with one card remaining. We're going early 80s. Early 80s on this one. Minnesota Twins. Look at that. Perm. Bring back the perm. John Maybe says Aaron Sanchez threw a combined no-hitter with the Astros. Interesting. That dude from Duryea gets the first point on Frank Viola. Frank Viola. That dude from Duryea with a few points today, and he moves up alone in fourth place with 8 points. Max extends his lead. He's in first with 26. Uncle Rich and Shane now tied for second with 20 each. That dude from Duryea's in fourth with 8, and Michael Renicky in fifth with 7 points. Bradley says not natural. It could have been natural curls. I don't know. Looks like a perm to me. Is that a beer card for Frank Viola? I can't tell. I mean, it's very blurred if it is. Very blurred. All right. I got to go. We got to get ready for eBay Live coming up in less than 1 hour. 10 o'clock this morning, 10 Central, 1 hour from right now. We will be on eBay Live slinging more singles from the Goodwill pallet. It's a free-for-all Friday. We'll take some requests, see what I have, but we're going to roll out some more singles today at 10 a.m. See you there. In the meantime, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com, and hopefully I'll see you in the eBay live chat coming up in 1 hour. See you there.